human being, I mean, an animal just act on instinct.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know any better.
Right,
They just act on instinct. A human being, you can get something and look at it like, now if I take these 9 donuts and crush them up and put them in my mouth, that's still 9 donuts of fat.
Right.
Sugar.
That's a lot of carbs.
Yeah.
Oh, a lot of carbs. Oh, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So in starting a business, like, did you? Well, you guys have to have like certain certifications. Did you always have those going
Well, yeah.
into
My
it,
undergrad degree is in physical education, old school physical education. Now it's kinesiology.
Oh,
they give it a fancy, fancy name.
Yeah.
But we had to take exercise phys, kinesiology, structural kinesiology, and I kind of went in the beginning the more sport medicine end, because I was also working on being certified to be a certified athletic trainer.
Yeah.
And so I took a lot of structural kinesiology, health prevention and care of injuries, and so that's kind of where the training started there. And then in order to be a certified trainer, there's some additional certification. But when I went back to get the certifications, it just reminded me of my undergrad degree.
Right.
And a lot of the things I was doing with players, and a lot of things I would observe with our own strength coaches at Florida. The one thing I noticed at Florida, the strength coaches that we had there was one who I'm very appreciative of, named Matt Delancey, and he was a strength coach for the swimming programs and the track programs and volleyball.
A lot of good athletes.
He's got a bunch of championships.
Yes.
And so, I just spent a lot of time talking to him about his thoughts and, how he devises a program, what he's looking for. Because, when you look at the average person, if you look at an athlete, the average person, you really don't want to walk around and look like a football player.
Right.
You want to look like a 400-meter runner.
Yeah.
Lean, strong, muscular.
Yes.
Got strength and a good cardiovascular system. And so, I was just. And so that was kind of like an impromptu training, but I was very appreciative of the time and the knowledge he shared.
Yeah.
And then the other training you go to, you go to seminars and things of that nature. But there's my certification is with NASM, and it's the National Academy of Sport Medicine. And so every 2 years, you have to go and get recertified, and so that's part of the process.
Yeah.
And then you just keep reading and stay, look for new things. Because there's always a new way to work at a different muscle group.
Right.
You just don't have to do the same thing. There's a different way to attack it. I think that's one of the things that we do well also, is that we can provide a variety of ways for people to get in shape and develop certain areas of their body and their whole body.
What's the biggest thing that you've had to overcome since you started the business?
Not having an administrative assistant.
Oh, man.
We hear that so much.
Oh yes.
Oh man, you see, I ran a department for years.
Right.
And when I needed something typed or a spreadsheet run or this, or I need you to set this database set up.
Oh snap!
It's all me, and I'm kind of sitting. My wife was just laughing. What are you doing? I'm trying to learn this software, so I put these clients in there. She said, you don't have Brenda anymore, do you? I go like, no.
No.
Will she think she'll come help me?
Yeah.
So that and just it's just it's on you. You got to get up and go. You got to choose to get up and go see about it. You're the one you got to write the marketing plan. You got to go and analyze to see what the other gyms are doing. You got to go and check out other people's philosophies, how they're laid out, that kind of stuff. So probably the biggest thing was, for me, I'm not kidding about the administrative thing because my computer skills are terrible, but now I make them work. I'm sitting there.
Right.
Well, you got to create a website. I'm like, you got to be kidding.
Oh man, yeah.
So we got somebody to help me create a website.
That's
so
good.
they said, well, we're going to have you actually sit at the computer and do it so you can go back and make changes. So I can go back and make changes on my website now.
That's
Nice.
cool. That's
So
cool.
that was hey, You know, I
If
can't.
they can get up there, if you just give it to somebody and
Yes.
throw some money at it.
Yeah,
Oh,
throw
yeah.
some money at it, and if
Yeah.
you need to make a quick change, but all the administrative stuff, I mean, you got to do. But the other things of starting a business, when I really got serious, was one, actually looking at a facility and looking for the partners, and it worked out well. You know, being in partnership with you know, Keith Teller
Yes.
and Gainesville Dojo for the building, and then you're working with people like Seafood Des,
Yeah.
and having a good set of partners,
Yeah. Yeah.
and people being on the same accord. So that's important.
Yeah.
And also a partnership for me was important going in, because it's just, you know, starting a business, you want to minimize your risk.
Right.
Mhm.
True.
So, you know, rather than me go out there by myself and, you know, with my, you know, 5 or 6 people at the time I had in the driveway,
Right.
you know, in a 4,000 square foot building, trying to stroke that note yourself,
Yeah.
probably wouldn't have been a wise choice.
Right. That would have been. Yeah.
So, you know, you have to look at 2 ways. Who can you partner with?
Uh-huh.
If you can't partner, where's a space where you can fit in your budget?
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's a certain money that I put away for equipment,
Right.
certain upfront money to stash away for emergencies. You know, stuff comes up.
Oh, that's wise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so there was about 2 to 3 years of just collecting equipment, putting away cash.
Yeah.
So when it came down to it, so there's not a lot of debt
Right.
involved in starting a business. Debt kills new businesses.
Yeah, that's what I heard once.
Right.
Like the Shark Tank guy, Damon John, he said once that you don't want to overfund your business.
No.
Like if you get a loan and it's over, you get this big loan, but then you don't have the clientele to even like you have all this funding before you even have like a legitimate amount of clientele. You can
No, it was,
Like
you
a
know,
bird.
it was methodical,
yeah.
collecting equipment that I already had,
Uh-huh.
pooling
You
that,
already owned it.
looking at stuff, putting money away to go and, you know, pay the cash. So my equipment is my equipment. So if they come and kick me out, I can sell it. It's my equipment.
Yeah.
It doesn't belong
Yeah.
to any bank
You
or
ain't
no
paying
company.
nobody
No.
for it. That's
No.
good. That is smart.
That's, yeah.
So, but if
wise.
I'm doing that by myself,
Mhm.
then you know, it's probably not as easy,
Yeah.
because at the same time now you're stroking that whole thing to the
Yeah,
lease.
yeah. 'Cause that's 4,000 square feet is a lot of rent.
That's a lot of
And
rent,
a lot of electric.
a lot of electric,
Mhm.
a lot of
Yeah,
electric.
you cannot underestimate that overhead, especially in these hot summer
Right.
days for months. Man.
Oh yeah.
How did you come up with your name?
Actually, my son came up with my
Nice.
oldest son, who's a strength coach at Georgetown University,
Oh, cool.
and he came up with the name and the original logo, because we were playing around with things, because you know, one of my training philosophies is that you train in 3D, because as human beings you move in 3 dimensions. You move frontal plane, sagittal plane, you move rotationally, so all the training should be in order so you could perform at your performance. And so he says, well, what word are you using? I said, well, you know, NASM talks about their OPT model, an optimal training model. And he goes, yeah, that's true, but you know, you want people to perform at their peak. So then everybody sat around the table and went, peak? Oh, okay. And he actually drew the original logo.
Yeah.
And he, on the side, he's also a very talented artist.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and so he did the original logo, and then I had a friend who works marketing at the university who actually helped me design this first website.
Oh, wow.
Actually cleaned it up into what it is now.
That's cool.
And so that's how, but my oldest son, Miguel, actually came up with the original name.
That's
cool.
neat.
But we were all sitting around the table, Miguel, my wife Mary Kay, and little Kate at the time,
Yes,
who was
yes,
7,
yes,
and
Kate.
we're like, oh yeah, that works. And then he just started sketching stuff, and then, you know, he got one iteration after the other, and then it ends up where it is now. But
Yeah.
he came up with the name.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
neat.
That's cool. It's cool when what happens when you brainstorm around the table.
I
Right?
know.
Oh, yeah.
Man,
Just-
it can go far.
Oh yeah, and everybody just went, wow, yeah, that
Yeah.
works.
Uh-huh.
And but it was all kind of thing. First design, they just told me, okay, you just stop because you have no artistic ability at all. Because the first logo I came up with,
You have
it was,
talent, but it's-
this is not one of your talents.
Yeah.
You know how to train people and all that stuff, but you leave this to us.
Put the pencil down.
Yeah, exactly. Just
Way.
just shake your head. No, you can't do it. You can't do it. Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't progress beyond stick figures.
Oh,
Yeah.
I got A's in art in elementary school.
Yeah.
I still draw like I'm in the third grade.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So, what can I say?
It's
Yeah.
all good. It's all good.
He's still stuck on Hangman.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. There you go. Exactly.
Good stuff.
But no, he came up with it.
That's
So,
cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. And staff that you have there.
The staff, the first person that started helping me was Jeremy Algren, and he's got a unique background. He is a certified national strength coach, and he is also a sensei in Okinawa style karate.
Oh.
And so it was a good combination because I try to mix some of the martial arts stuff in like some of our routines, like we have one combination that's a 45-degree lunge, bicep curls, actually a punch, or a back lunge, and then 45 degrees. Actually, it's 2 evasions. They don't even know it. And so the women go like, what? Well, if somebody walks up on it, you do a back lunge, and you stop them with a palm strike, and then you step away with a 45-degree lunge, and boom, you hit them in the solar plexus. And they're going, I don't want to hurt anybody. I said, no, we're just teaching you how to move in different planes. And so I try to incorporate it in there. So Jeremy is in the staff too. And the other person, it was kind of funny how things happened. Last spring, we're in the gym, and young man comes walking in. I'm looking at him. I'm going like, who in the world is that? And he goes, Coach Keith. And I went, yeah, it's D.A. D.A. Hinton. Well, they call me Coach Keith because I used to coach my youngest son's AAU team. My youngest son, Clay. And Clay and D.A. and a couple other people who joined the gym, all went to PK Young together. And so D.A. said, yeah, I just finished my master's in exercise phys and I just got my certification. And I was like, hey, well, that's great. I said, we just started out. I said, I can't pay you right now. I said, but, we're getting there where, I can give you work experience. And in case you find something that pays, then you can go. But then you can say that, hey, you worked for us and you actually trained. And so things got to the point where, we got to the point in 6 or 7 minutes where, we were covering our bills. And so I was able to, kind of work him in, work Jeremy in. So that's the staff right now. So hopefully one day we keep on the path we're on, and I can hire one of those guys full time. Yeah, so I can watch my 10-year-old play a little more volleyball.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
But that's the staff right now. And so we have, it's been a unique situation because we have a couple people who approached me about, getting certified and just saying, hey, we like, how you're teaching because we're like I'm an old coach and I'm an instructor. And so when we run class, I'm coaching. And it's kind of like, we're correcting, and if people are not doing it right, we're stopping them. And we'll back them down and make them do something that's a little simpler, until they can show some some proficiency in a certain move, and then we'll give them the more advanced moves. But I mean, that's kind of our whole deal. We're coaching and teaching. But Jeremy Algren, he's got a great background, and DA, we call him Devious DA because he comes up with these cardio finishers at the end. And it's kind of going, and my buddy is, who's a clinical psych, he's one of our members, and he goes, you're already sadistic. And so DA, he looks like you. He might as well be your son, but he's just devious in the demon. That's wrong. Oh yeah.
Because I like how you have it set up, the layout and stuff, because it's like it's set up for strength and like agility stuff.
Oh yeah.
Physical stuff too. How did you come up with that?
Just kind of looking at what we were doing in the south end zone with our strength coaches there. Matt Delancey, who I mentioned, how they have a layout. And then I did a lot of research. I went to gyms and worked out at different gyms. And
oh wow.
There's a gentleman. You talk about 6 degrees of separation. There's a gym out there. Was in Redondo Beach, California, and I got the name because it was one of the suppliers I was using. and they were saying, hey, here's some of the gyms that we've equipped, and here's some of our 5-star gyms. So I went out there, and the guy's named Brian Newen, and he's changed the name of his gym, but it's in Redondo Beach, and I went out there and just went through a workout, and they're NASM certified people also, and I'm lit there and saw he's lay out, and I said, hey, do you mind if I take pictures of the place? And he says, why? I said, I live in Gainesville and I worked at the University of Florida. He said, you worked at the University of Florida? I go, yeah. So I worked in the athletic department. He goes, you know Fred Taylor? I go, Fred Taylor played running back with the Jaguars. I used to be the athletic trainer for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Fred was on the team. And so he spent about 90 minutes with me.
Wow.
Hey, you got to do this when you start to build. You need to contact this person. You do this and this and this. You need to make sure that you get people who believe in what you believe. He says you can't teach all these classes by yourself. He says you can't handle all these private clients and do it right. He says you got to do this. You got to understand.
Oh, wow.
And he said you got to understand how big you want to be. Do you want to be real big? I said, no, I'm not trying to be real big.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, he gave you a lot of wisdom.
A lot of wisdom.
Wow.
A lot of wisdom. And he was, and it just, here's a guy, we have, connected.
Yeah.
Because he worked for years with Fred Taylor, who we both know real well.
Yeah.
And he was right here in Florida for years.
Wow.
Man, that's awesome, man. That's how you network right there.
Oh, yeah.
That's like.
Oh, it worked out. He was very helpful. He was very helpful.
Oh.
Yeah. So you've been blessed, with have some people along the way that, first the wife said, yeah, you can do that. You can leave the desk and go.
Right.
And then I said, that's why I married a younger wife anyway.
There you go.
No, that's wrong. I shouldn't even say that.
It's great to have supportive spouses.
Very supportive. And so, but she's very supportive and just people along the way. So like, hey, I like what you're doing. Yeah. And so, but we're having fun.
That's cool. What's your goal going forward for the next year or two?
My goal for it is to get to the point revenue-wise where I can, as I mentioned, make one of those guys full-time. Yeah. So. Yeah. And then that's my goal. And then I'll take my money after I pay them. So that's kind of the goal.
I hear that. That's good. That's smart. I think you've been.
And to change some more people's lifestyles. Yeah. That's kind of like the overriding thing. I think if we keep changing people's lifestyles and mentalities and to the fact where they understand that they have the freedom to choose to start working out, eating better, and then working out consistently, the other stuff in terms of the revenue and all that stuff, we believe that's going to happen.
That's going to take care of itself. Right. Yeah.
So the first things, we're doing first things first, is to take care of the people who walk in the door. You take care of the people who walk in the door, they're going to bring other people in who are eventually going to help you get to your revenue goals. Yeah. If you got it reversed and you go for the money and you forget that, you got to change the mindset of some people and the habits of some people, then probably may not happen. Yeah.
Good stuff. You got anything else?
How can people get a hold of you?
They can get a hold of me. Our website is www.peakstrengthfitness.com, or they can call me directly at 352-317-2484, or they can email me at Dr.C at peakstrengthfitness.com.
Awesome.
Excellent. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate you, Phil. We're going to get you in there on that shoulder now,
Yes, we will.
All right.
Yes, we're going to do it.
Trina, it's nice to meet you.